just give endless.
All right, so here's another super chat question.
Yeah.
Play prognosticator. What are President Trump's chances of re-election in 2020?
I would say short of some sort of impeachment thing, and I have to catch up on a little bit of the news that you enlightened me on, I would say basically pretty good. If the left's decision to go down the road of identity politics and social democrats, socialist democrats, whatever the hell they're called now, but the Bernie Keith Ellison wing, which is basically an extremist wing of a party, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Is there any blue dog Democrat left? If that thing could come back, a sensible liberal, believe me, I could vote for someone who's probably a little more big government than I am. I wish, and I talked about it for years, I used to say my guys. I wanted my side, the left, the Democrats, to wake up. There's no sign whatsoever that they're going to wake up. Potentially, look, if they get slammed in the midterms, then maybe they wake up. But you're predicting that they won't. I suspect it's not going to be that bad, actually, if you're a Republican, because I don't think there's anyone who voted for Trump that suddenly looks at the left and thinks that they're better.
No.
But their numbers may just be depressed. They may just not show up, and that's always what happens in midterms, and it's never good for the incumbent president's party and all that stuff. But I suspect generally what they're offering is it really is fringe, and the only reason we don't think it's fringe is because the mainstream media jams it down our throat every day. And if we can get that message out to people, and I think you're particularly effective at doing it, but we need to also get to people that won't listen to Ben Shapiro, right? We need to get to people that'll listen to me or whoever else, people that listen to Joe Rogan or whatever, even though I know we all have a lot of crossover. If that message could get out there, this thing that's being sold to you as so obvious and good and the government can fix everything and blah, 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 if we can show them that is a fringe idea, here are some better ways to freedom, then I think, forget Trump for a second, I just think that that's a much better path for a healthy society.
So I'm out of the political prognostication business since I lost $10,000 on the last election cycle. But
By the way, I was with you the night of the election, which I've told many people, well, I think we've talked about it publicly, but watching you that night, you know,
it was entertaining.
It was like being with like 8 different people trying to burst out of one body.
Oh my God, it was very wild. So
yeah.
You know, I'm more skeptical that President Trump is headed in a good path just because his approval ratings are so low, and there's only a referendum on him once every 4 years. So I think that 2018 is shaping up pretty ugly for Republicans. The turnout numbers don't look good. Democrats are overrepresenting pretty much everywhere in the early elections. Do I think it's going to be like a 60-seat blowout? No, but I think that there's a good shot Democrats win about 35 seats in the House. Again, I could be completely wrong here, right?
Is the scariest part of that, though, that let's say the Democrats take back the House and
then
blah, blah,
it's just
blah.
endless investigations.
Yeah.
Nothing gets done for a couple of years. Also, here's the thing. President Trump is riding on excellent news for the past couple of years. He's at like 42% in the polls usually, 43% in the polls. He benefited, number one, from Gary Johnson and Jill Stein winning a combined, I think, 6-7% of the vote in the last election cycle. But also, he has benefited now from a great economy and no major foreign policy crisis. We're overdue for some sort of economic downturn. And there's one every 8 to 10 years in the country. It's been since 2008. So I'm a little, God willing, we avoid it, and it just continues to be strong because it'd be good for the country. But if
and by the way, that the idea that the president is so in charge of all of that,
he's not in charge of nearly any of the economy.
Yeah.
I think the president can put a serious damper on the economy, but I don't think that the president can be held responsible for the performance of a particular economy. Again, when people say Obama was great for the economy, it's like, well, so was the Republican Congress great for the economy? Because they were there since 2010. All of that said, I think Democrats are going to turn out in droves in 2020 in a way they didn't in 2016. The real story of 2016 to me was no one showed up to vote for Hillary Clinton. Like, we're all focused on Trump because he's the center of the universe. Yeah. But the reality is that was a referendum on Hillary, not a referendum on Trump. Trump's approval ratings were absolutely stable. They were always between 40 and 44%. Hillary's bounced around from 40 to 50 because people would say, oh, well, maybe she'll be good. And then they'd look at her and they go, oh, God, she's going to be awful. Right. And they just wouldn't show up. Right. She won fewer votes in the state of, Donald Trump won fewer votes in the state of Wisconsin than Mitt Romney did in 2012. Trump won the state of Wisconsin. Romney lost the state of Wisconsin because no one showed up to vote for Hillary Clinton. I think Democratic turnout in 2020 is going to be real high. Trump has to win somewhere between 12 and 14 million additional votes between 2016 and 2020 in order to win, because George W. had to win an additional 10 million votes to win, and he only lost by 500,000 in the popular vote. So how can Republicans win? Democrats can be awful, right? I mean, that's what you're basically saying. Yeah. And so it's always a head-to-head matchup. Yeah. If Democrats run Kamala Harris, Trump will win. If Democrats run Elizabeth Warren, I think Trump probably wins. If they run Kirsten Gillibrand, he will definitely win. If they run Joe Biden, I think it's an uphill run for President Trump in
But think how
re-election.
sad that is, that you'd need to bring in this, I don't know how old, what, he'd be
Doddering,
72-year-old? Like,
he'll be 78.
Oh, God.
He'll be 74. He'll be 78. Trump will be 74, and the two of them will just club each other with their canes. They'll like, you know how many tennis balls they'll go through running on the bottom of those walkers?
Yeah.
Okay, here.